Hello and welcome to Liberty University's Dean Chat featuring the School of Communication and the Arts. I'm Chris Jones, the Director of Admissions, and I'm so glad you took the time to join us this evening. Dean Scott Hayes will be covering the 5 departments and associated degree programs that make up the School of Communication and the Arts. Joining Dean Hayes are the department chairs from all 5 of the departments. We will have a Q&A session immediately following their presentation. Later, it's my privilege to discuss some helpful tips in navigating the enrollment process here at Liberty University. During this event, we have staff ready to answer your questions by chat. You can access the Q&A feature on the upper right side of your screen. Now let's get started. We have a short video to highlight all that is the School of Communication and the Arts.
Since 1971, Liberty's had one mission: training champions for Christ. Our standard is excellence with integrity, and our goal is to equip you with the resources and knowledge you need to achieve your goals. We, the influencers of Liberty University, are committed to impacting the world for Christ through the power of the communication and arts industries. Together, we can ignite your God-given talents, honing your craft and creative vision. At Liberty School of Communication and the Arts, you will study under professors with decades of industry experience. And you'll have access to studios with leading industry technology and design tools, world-class production and post-production facilities, and professional theater spaces and rehearsal studios. Whether you want to lead communication campaigns, perform on all levels of theater, or create movies and television series, at Liberty, you will be welcomed into a community of fellow creatives, empowered to make an impact as a champion for Christ.
Now that all looks very exciting. So we have an opportunity to speak with the dean of the school, and Dean Scott Hayes is going to talk about the 5 departments. I'm very honored to introduce him to you. So again, the Dean of the School of Communication and the Arts, Dean Scott Hayes.
Hey folks, what a blessing it is to be able to talk to you right now. I'm just going to take a couple of moments because I want to get to the different departments so that you understand how we're all together, how it will give you some context to figure out what the School of Communication and the Arts is. As you can see on the slide, we are one mission but 5 distinct departments. What does that mean? Well, that means that we are bound to give you academic experience through hands-on experience. All of our departments have a lot of experiential opportunities, and because so many of our degree plans, the disciplines that make up our degree plans, that they're changing. We don't want to prepare you just for the jobs of today, even though all of our technology is up to date, all of our theaters are new, all of our studios are new, but we want you to be thinking like a designer, which means you're thinking like a problem solver throughout all of our disciplines, so that when your discipline starts to change, and it will, that you wind up being able to go along with those changes. Every one of our departments are like that, and every one of the personalities, the people that lead the departments, are no exception to that either. So now I want to introduce you all 5 of them. They're going to talk a little bit about their programs, again, just to give you a context about how our school is put together, and then maybe answer a couple of questions for you, and then we'll get to the Q&A. So without further ado, let's talk about cinematic arts. Our cinematic arts Zachy Gordon Center is led by, it's like a department chair, but because it's a center, it is our executive director, Professor Stefan Schulze. Now, he has worked within and outside of the studio system as a producer, as a director, as a screenwriter. He has more than 30 years in entertainment industry experience. When he started the center, he created a real world education model that we all try to model after. And it makes perfect sense that one of his greatest passions is for you, is to help people like you find your voice and way in one of our nation's largest and most influential industries. So without further ado, Professor Stefan Schulze.
Well, thanks for this opportunity I have today to come talk to you. The Cinematic Arts program has a degree in cinematic arts And it also has 2 minors that we offer. One that's for interdisciplinary students that are from all kinds of disciplines that you'll be working with hands-on productions. And then we have another minor where you can take a variety of courses. So you have a lot of things to choose from if you're not interested in going through the major process. Our philosophy, and maybe I should frame cinema real quickly for you differently, because I think a lot of people just think of it as movies. Probably 90% of what we learn today, we learn from the creation of someone created audiovisual content that helps us understand our world better. And that is really what we teach. Anything from 5 seconds all the way to a TV series that you might be streaming on a streaming service that's 100 hours long. And we teach you how to create that content. Our philosophy is learn by doing. As Dean Hayes has said, everybody uses here the state-of-the-art equipment. You'll be able to walk right off of our sets or out of our post facilities or wherever you happen to be right onto a set, and it's an easy transition into the real world because you're using the same gear. Our philosophy of learn by doing is successful, and I can point to 3 movies that have gotten, that we do a large project every year with students. We did 3 feature films that have gotten theatrical release by studios, 3 more movies that were done with students in the 10 years we were here that got TV releases, and 2 TV pilots. So you're going to graduate working on something that's scaled up to 100 people on a set to see what that's like. And then you'll also make your own short film in a 4K workflow model. They'll have a THX surround sound. So you understand what it's like when you get out if you want to continue making films with just 3 to 10 people. So I want to tell you a little bit of what you'll graduate with. You'll graduate with a business plan. Yes, you're going to take business affairs classes to understand how to release your movies and those kinds of things. You're going to have a reel. You're going to have done your own short film, as I said, in a 4K workflow. You'll have a credit on a real production that has a real distribution associated with it. And you'll have a polished screenplay as you go out. But I think the most significant thing you're going to graduate with is the relationships that you're going to make while you're here. Our education model is a cohort model. So what that means is, yes, you're going to be taking film classes your freshman, sophomore year, but as you get into your junior year and come into the program, you're going to be doing exclusively cinema for 2 years in a cohort group. And that cohort group will help you develop those relationships that'll last a lifetime as you go out in industry. So thank you for this opportunity today, and I look forward to your questions.
Thanks, Stefan. There are so many exciting things going on in our Center for Cinematic Arts. And we have 4 more, and we have another exciting department in digital media and journalism. Now, that's led by Professor John Rost. Like Stefan, he has more than 2 decades of professional media production experience with a variety of corporate, nonprofit clients. He included the management of a West Coast studio of a large Christian broadcasting ministry. He's been the executive producer, director for numerous projects in the United States and international markets. And he has an MFA in directing for film and television. And like Stefan, he brings all of this firsthand experience into administering and also into the classroom as an instructor. Professor John Rost.
Thank you, Dean Hayes. Good evening, everyone. We have some exciting news in digital media and journalism. This fall, we're launching a brand new degree in digital media and journalism with 9 new concentrations. We're in the process of updating our website right now, but all of the new degree plans can be found on the registrar's website. And we also continue to have relevant minors that can be added on to any of the degrees within the university. The 9 new tracks include audio live production, music recording, audio post-production, church media production, digital journalism, entertainment journalism, sports journalism, video editing, and video production. We also have some outstanding firsthand opportunities for our students entering our program. We partner with the Liberty Broadcast Experience that provides thousands of media production opportunities every year to our students, both in and out of our HD studios. Liberty is also home to the award-winning Liberty Champion newspaper, and we have a brand new facility for our 90.9 The Light radio station. We can't wait for you to be here. We can't wait for you to get involved. Come see us. Don't be a stranger, and don't wait when you get to campus. Please find that opportunity quickly and get enrolled, get involved, so that you maximize your time for every moment that you're here on our campus, because this truly is a firsthand experience. It's a hands-on program that we offer, and we work well with our brothers and sisters in the other departments and around campus as well. It truly is a collaborative environment. I think you're going to find a lot of family here, a lot of friends, and perhaps relationships that last a lifetime. So we can't wait to see you. Back to you, Dean Hayes.
Thanks, Professor Rost. We have so many, we're going to hear this a lot, but we have so many hands-on opportunities. And Professor Rost mentioned to get involved early because these opportunities can begin as soon as you arrive on campus. Well, our third department is no exception to the hands-on experience and to that experience of the department chair. Dr. Marie Mallory, she's department chair and professor for the Department of Strategic and Personal Communication. Now, prior to Liberty, she was the PR director for a multi-million-dollar firm, as well as she's been a communication consultant for several Forbes top 500 companies. She was part of the team that created online education for the states of Alabama and Louisiana. She's recognized as a Carnegie Master Teacher. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Dr. Marie Mallory.
Hello, thank you for joining us. We are so glad that you're here and that you're considering Liberty University. And my colleagues have already told you there's so much going on here and there's so many opportunities. We really can't begin to cover those in any of our departments. There's so much that you can do and so much for you to be involved in. And you can see on your screen the different majors that are available in the Department of Strategic and Personal Communication. These majors offer you unlimited opportunities to improve your written, verbal, and nonverbal communication skills. So whether you're considering public relations, advertising, teaching, law, medicine, business as your ultimate career, we are fortunate enough to be a starting place for any and all of those careers. Additionally, you can be a part of public relations teams that partner with outside organizations where you, again, are getting that hands-on experience that we keep talking about. You can be a part of our nationally award-winning advertising team, our nationally award-winning forensic speech team. We have Lambda Pi Eta, which is the Communication Honors Association. There's just a ton for you to do and to get in and get involved and begin building that career and getting those experiences that are so vital to your success later on. So whatever your choice is, I know that you can find your voice here at Liberty, and I'm looking forward to answering any questions you may have. Thanks.
Thank you, Dr. Mallory. And I'll bring that up again later, but the importance of getting in touch with us so you know about these opportunities and that you can see that we are all completely on your side. Okay, for our fourth department, Department of Studio and Digital Arts, I want to introduce Professor Todd Smith. For over 20 years, he's been teaching and creating works of art, and we're talking about fields like animation, graphic design, web, sculpture, painting, drawing, but he's also been involved in research with emerging technologies. He's used traditional and digital media to create characters for gaming, for animation, for 3D printing. His work is in public and private collections. He has a sculpture in the chapel for St. Hugh's College at Oxford University. He's an exhibiting member of Piedmont Craftsmen, and his recent book, A Creative Church, The Arts and a Century of Renewal, explores the intersection of faith and art. It's my pleasure to introduce you to Professor Todd Smith.
Thank you, Dean Hayes, and welcome to all of you. We're very excited to have you here. And as you can see on the screen, we have various degrees in our area, which are in graphic design, studio art, and teacher licensure. There's a BFA and a Bachelor of Science degree, and the difference in the two is one just requires more hours. You kind of go deep into an area in terms of if you want to go into studio art with sculpture or drawing or painting, or graphic design. And so really it's up to you to choose which one you would like to do. The BS has more flexibility in that you can take minors in our area in graphic design, studio art, or photography, or you can reach out into another area. As several of us have mentioned, there's a wonderful synergy in our school for the arts. So this BS allows that. So I think one of the things that really sets us apart is our faculty and our facilities dean, Hayes mentioned, and community. We're really concerned about you being involved in the community very early on, so that you can not just make friends and things like that, but so that you can explore an art area. And I want to introduce an idea to you to think about just very quickly. And, you know, we've all shown our different degrees, but I want you to think of your degree. Is God calling you into a degree? And is this degree a place where he wants you to think of that as an area of worship, where you can worship him in a creative manner through those skills that he's given you, and allow God to work actually through you to do something that our department actually has as a motto: reflecting God's creativity to bring him glory. And you know, God called you and gave you your gifts for a reason, and he wants to impact culture through that. So to illustrate that, I have one of the oldest technologies. If you can see that, that is a pencil. That's one of the oldest technologies, right? And then I have in my hand a cell phone. And so think of how far we've come. We can create with a pencil or a cell phone. We can do game design, app design, web design, animation. Our department does 3D modeling, 3D printing, those kinds of things. This is a Hulk sculpture that I modeled and printed. We do that kind of thing, 3D body scanning for character development, those kinds of things. And again, these are all cultural impact kinds of things. And so we really like the fact that our faculty mentor our students to do that. And so know that when you come here, that's what you're going to be getting: strong mentoring from experienced faculty and a community who will love you and support you. I could say a lot more, and I'm really looking forward to the chat to answer questions, but I'm going to turn it back over to Dean Hayes now.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Todd. Hey, you know, Professor Smith reminded us, and it's something that's important to say, we're going to talk a lot about the different opportunities that we have, and that we're on par or superior to almost any school in the country that I can think of. But he reminded me that we got to make sure that you understand that we only do this because of our identity in Jesus Christ. It's something that I can personally vouch for all of our department chairs. And because it's our identity so much that sometimes we neglect telling you that's true. So there, we said it. We'll talk all over it. You're going to get it all through your classes and your curriculum. And the next person that I introduce to you is no exception to this. I've known her for many years. This is Professor Linda Cooper. She's department chair for the Department of Theater Arts. And she's also artistic director of our in-house professional company called Alluvian Stage Company. Now, she is entering her 30th year on faculty at Liberty University. She balances her time between the academics and her professional work as a director, as a published playwright. She is a registered songwriter with BMI in New York City. And since she's been chair, the department has grown from one program to now 4 solid programs and degrees. Professor Linda Cooper.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us on one of the last evenings of May, and then we're heading into June here very quickly. As you see, the Theater Arts Department has 4 distinct degree programs. We have 2 that are considered professional degree programs, which are our BFAs in acting and musical theater, and then 2 that are more of a generalist degree programs, the Bachelor of Arts in Theater and the Bachelor of Science in Theater. The BFAs allow you to really just emerge into all of this, all the discipline of acting and performing and going the complete professional route, so that when you graduate, you're going to hit the boards, you're going to go directly into professional theater, whereas the BA and BS allow you to examine other areas of theater other than performance. True, you may explore performance in a BA/BS, but it also opens the doors to arts administration and to dramaturgy and to directing and designing and writing and all different ways that theater is used in this economy. It's very important for you to know that in theater, we are here to really help you understand that you are the creative being that God has intended you to be. And that means you get to use your imagination. And what we are hearing back from corporations all over is that they are looking for students who graduate from here who aren't afraid of using their imaginations, who aren't afraid to stepping outside of that box and help corporations see things in a different way. So a theater degree is not just for the theater, it's for all types of aspects of corporations and business and the world of law. We also offer 2 minors, one in theater, but also one in dance. And we also encourage for our students to look at the minors here within the School of Communication and the Arts, because any of the minors fit so well with our majors. We allow students to have all types of opportunities in the department. We usually have 8 opportunities just on our stages. We have 2 very beautiful brand new stages, a proscenium stage, a black box theater. And because of that, we can bounce back and forth with lots of stage opportunities for our students. As a matter of fact, this upcoming year, we have 9 different opportunities for stage experience. We also offer opportunities for voiceover work with our radio dramas, which not only do we have student talent, but we have student writers, we have student producers, student designers. It is a national award-winning radio drama. It is also an international award-winning radio drama. We also allow students to write a lot of original works that many times end up on our stage as part of our main season. And some of these original works have not just received regional recognition, but state and national recognition with the Kennedy Center American Theater Association. We also offer study abroad programs, not just for drama ministry, but for cultural engagement, and have gone to countries such as France and have gone to Spain and Belgium and other countries. We have a National Honor Society, Alpha Psi Omega, that offer lots of opportunities for students outside of the academic situation. And so we just always seem to be hopping 7 days a week here, and we invite you to come along and join us, as we believe that if we want to change the arts, then we must be the creators of the art, because that's the only way it's going to be changed. So we don't want people to sit back, complain about how the arts just aren't what they used to be. Well, then get in here and change it with us, because we are ready to create wonderful art for the future.
Thank you, Professor Cooper. You see, you're going to be led by remarkable people, and I can't help but smile. I love these folks so much. One reason is because when I was your age, when I was an undergraduate student or a graduate student, I didn't have these kind of folks, these people speaking life to me like this. Okay, let's transition just a little bit to talk some advice. I can give you some advice to best prepare you. And some of these are going to sound like they're negative. I don't mean that at all. For some of you folks that are starting at Liberty in the fall, this is going to be your first real time of autonomy, your first time to be responsible for your learning and your creative work. You heard from Professor Ross that there are thousands of digital media opportunities. All the rest of the chairs talked about all of the opportunities. And yet, I think part of that responsibility is knowing everything that's an option and then being able to make good choices about it. One of the simplest ways to do it, and we're going to talk about DCPs, there it's spelled out, your degree completion plan, how important it is to know that. And then there is a general schedule that you follow to complete that degree on every single one. It's really important. And to right away, schedule an appointment with your professional advisor. They're actually part of our chat team going on right now, and you can see their pictures below us, Amanda and Ashley, and you can see the departments that they're connected with. The 5 department chairs that you met are so personable and want to help you succeed. They mean what they say. And the faculty that are attached to the classes that you'll be taking, even as early as your freshman year, they become your advisors as you become upperclassmen. But we advise all of our students to get to know the department chair and the faculty as soon as possible to take advantage of all of the activities that we have. You can see that the fourth bullet point there, to get involved in the many activities that relate to your major. You heard Professor Cooper talk about student organizations. You heard Dr. Mallory talk about student organizations. You don't have to be an upperclassman to be involved. You can do that from day one. And that brings me to that last point, which is this is the time, since you're responsible, to be able to say yes. There's a very common improv adage or rule called yes and, that you have to say yes to whatever you do. Well, I found that so helpful in academic settings and my professional settings. I say yes to most things that come to me, and then usually God takes care of what's the order of things that are going to happen. College is the time to get to try experiences, and we've been since we are a hands-on school, we've tried to give you as many experiences as possible. Okay, let's switch a little focus here and talk not just to advice to our students, but advice to parents too. Now, this is a tough time for our country with COVID-19, and a lot of people are looking at people in the arts and going, I don't know if this is a good career, I don't know if it's stable. Well, I encourage you, we'll have a link to it, but you can Google that video that you see there. It's called Uncle Henry is Wrong. Uncle Henry is sort of a generic person who thinks that a career in the arts is untenable, unsustainable, not something that will provide. Well, as many of our department chairs have said, not only do we prepare you for the professional aspects of the careers, but we found, I mean, every one of our department chairs would say this for themselves, that the very thing that we learned to think like designers, to think like creative people, to present ourselves appropriately, have prepared us for these kind of jobs as well. We do so many things, and I wanted you to be able to see all of the social media things that we have. Just the general ones are up there. Every one of the department has Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and all sorts of things, but you can see the general school one, that's Liberty SCA for Facebook, my own Twitter handle, Dean Hayes LU, and then you can see two Instagrams, the general one for the school, my own, and it would be a pleasure, a privilege to be able to speak with you or to communicate with you, and that's my email address there. Sometimes I only get to see people at the very beginning and the very end. That's okay, but I also love the opportunity to be able to get a question. If I can't answer it, I send it out to the department chairs. I send it out to the people that are in charge of experiences, because it is just as important to me as I know it is to the chairs to make sure that you have a firm foundation, both in your faith and in every aspect of your professional craft. Okay, without further ado, I think we are going to be moving on to the Q&A. And so I think Chris is going to be leading us through this, and this might be where our technology gets a little funky. And so I ask for a little grace as we try to answer your questions as best we can.
Yes, absolutely. We're going to go through some of the questions that have already been out there, and one of them, Professor Rost actually answered. But there was a student who was concerned about undergraduate students being eligible for the Liberty Flames Sports Network. So I don't know if you want to answer that live, Professor Ross, but I do see that you had chatted back in that.
Sure, I'm happy to. I can talk a little bit about the production environment here at Liberty. You know, we have an academic department, but we also have a full-time professional department called Broadcast Operations, and that department has, I think, at least 20 full-time people that are staffing all of our productions, and they are what we call non-academic staff. It's their full-time job here at the university to run things like our award-winning Game On show, that's a nationally syndicated show. They do several hundred sporting events every year. They're in charge of political debates, guest speakers, commencement, convocation, multiple times a week. So all of these production opportunities are great opportunities for students, and they have a rigorous training program in and of their own area that's apart from classes. So we encourage students, as soon as you get here, freshman year, first semester, whatever it is, whenever you're coming, or if you're a transfer student, jump right in. We can help you get in touch with the right people so that you can get your hands dirty, because you're not going to learn much here from books. And books are great, but our business is very much hands-on. So we want you to get those opportunities right away when you get here. Those opportunities usually, they start off as volunteer. some positions are available as work study. And then there are certain events that come along, and if you've already proven yourself to the staff at LFSN or Liberty Broadcast Experience, they've changed their name recently. If you've already proven yourself to them, then you can have an opportunity occasionally to make some freelance wages. So great opportunities, and they're growing all the time.
So the lesson is raise your hand if you're interested and find out those opportunities for sure.
Absolutely.
Hey, if I could speak just for a second, Chris, about that, and I know all the other departments want to jump on this as well. The truth is, folks, the math is in your favor. Professor Ross talked about thousands of digital media opportunities. I know every year we produce 60 short films. We do 8 productions. We have scores of strategic and personal communication opportunities. We have lots of people who are wanting our graphic design expertise. If you can prove that you are dependable and you are skilled, there is work for you at Liberty University. We start in a club basis, we start in a volunteer opportunity, and there's just a lot of different opportunities to hone your craft. I think if someone is dependable and skilled, you're not going to have a shortage of opportunities.
All right, that sounds great. Now, one of the other thoughts, so many of the programs have similarities, but of course differences. What would be some of the best advice you could give to someone who's not exactly sure? Maybe they've selected their degree, but they're not 100% sold. What would be some of the best advice to give them as they go through and finding their voice or their face or their talent, or what it would be? What would you guys advise for students to consider in that role?
Well, I'll take the first part, and then I know the department chair, so I'll just answer the very beginning of this. I want you to think about 3 things. General education. Every one of our majors, every one of our departments has classes that satisfy general education requirements. Those are the things that you usually want to get out of the way your freshman and sophomore year. Now, second is that most of our departments, we have 2 kinds of degree paths. We have a series of BS, Bachelor of Science, or BA degrees that are more general in nature, so that they have more elective opportunities so that you can try out other kinds of classes, some within the School of Communication and the Arts, some in other places. And then the third kind of degree that we have, both in studio and digital art and arts and in theater arts, are the BFA degrees. Now, those are very specific courses that most of the classes are spoken for. But why I wanted to bring that one up third is that all of our degrees have something within each department in common. So there's a collection of core courses that are required for every degree in that department. So a student could explore a degree first in general education, then they could start in the BS or the BA track appropriate to their degree plan and take a couple of the classes, or take a minor, especially for cinematic arts, and then they could decide to stay in that BA or BS or jump to the more specific one, and you're not going to lose any classes because that's all been part of the degree plan. I hope that helps in a general sense. I know our department chairs can be more specific.
I know as it relates to cinema, as Dean Hayes was saying, we have 3 core courses that will help give you a broad understanding of cinema. One is in screenwriting, another one is in sound design and cinematography, and another one is in directing. So you'll understand how to direct, conceptualize a scene, how to direct actors, and that gives you a general feel for what we do as well. And then I think, there are a lot of opportunities even outside the classroom that I think all of our degrees offer that give you a real broad understanding of what that experience might be in life when you get out. I think one of the best ways to do it might be, if you're interested in production, is to talk to Professor Ross and find out what's going on in that department, and what the production is related to that. Come to ours, work on some short films that the students are doing, see what that experience is like to help you understand where you might want to go, because none of those ultimately, at the end of the day, even those classes you take are wasted. They ultimately go toward electives or other opportunities to help you find your way in your path.
Very good, very good. We did get another one in, a little bit more technical on the graphic design degree. Would a student be able to learn how to create computer-generated imagery throughout that degree?
Yeah, that's almost all our degree is computer-generated imagery. It would include a variety of software packages. It depends on what a student would want to do. So we use industry standard software such as InDesign and Photoshop and Dreamweaver and Illustrator. All those have their niches in the field. They're definitely requisite for the field, but that's one of the things the student will learn when they take our classes. One of the things that I will say too is unlike some schools that I've received word from students on, and basically some schools will require you to take 3 major software programs in one semester. For instance, a student might have to do a major project based on knowing InDesign, Photoshop, and Illustrator. Those are major packages. Here, we teach Photoshop as a standalone class. We teach InDesign as a standalone class. We teach web design as a standalone class. We teach Illustrator as a standalone class. And then building off of that skill set, students then go into classes where they get to spread their wings and then find their own voice and create the kind of things they want to. So if a student's interested in package design or illustration or another area that's very prevalent in graphic design such as UX, UI, or app design or something like that, they can explore those areas based on the requisite skills. Another thing that I would like to say about that is don't count out the fact that the digital connects with the traditional. And so it's really easy to see that. I'm actually in my office and I have a lot of my own work here, and I'll just speak from that, but our students do this all the time. Before I ever create anything, I draw it first. So I use that old technology that I mentioned. I do my ideation first. So that's image-based. I'm really working out the whole concept on paper. And then I always like to say in my own life, I get all the bad drawings out, the ones that don't really represent what I think is that image that I really want. I work that out on paper. Once I get that image, then I can scan it. I can take it into numerous software programs and do a variety of things with it. So the traditional always connects to the digital. And I've seen that so many times in my own professional career as a graphic designer, as well as a traditional artist. So we're all about the creation of imagery. You learn from the ground up on that. Hope that answers the question.
I believe so. It definitely covers a good facet of that. Now, there were a couple other technical questions that got published, more so on computer capacities or computer recommendations, that is, from the department. Professor Ross, you were answering some of those in there. I don't know if you want to mention that live to the other guests who may not have saw that.
Yeah, I'm happy to. You know, that's an age-old question of what computer should I buy. I can say what we have. We have nearly a dozen labs, 9 or 10 labs now. I've lost track of the count. Computer labs that service digital media and journalism, strategic communication, SCA, cinematic arts, I think, has some classes over our direction as well. Most of our labs are Mac, and the one thing that Liberty does, one of the many things that Liberty does, they keep this technology up to date. None of these computers is older than 4 years, and when we buy new computers, we typically buy pretty high-end models. We upgraded last year to iMac Pro, Cinematic Arts uses really high-end Windows-based workstations because they have flexibility with video cards and things like that. But when it comes to a student buying their own computer, I think the question was whether you should buy a MacBook Air. And I think I would turn that question back to you is, what do you need to be able to do with that computer? If you're doing email and word processing, go right ahead, buy your MacBook Air. If you're going to be doing video production, if you're going to be doing editing, graphic design, layout, compositing, animation, the MacBook Air is going to choke on you, just like a lower end Windows computer would as well. So I recommend that you buy, if you're going to buy a MacBook of some kind, do the MacBook Pro, do the higher end model as much as you can afford. Think that plan that you're going to have it for 4 years. The cost kind of amortizes out nicely with a Mac. I'm biased, honest. So feel free, if you have more specific questions, feel free to reach out to us online and an email. One last thing about our facilities. When it comes to things like the Student Media Lab, we have over $1 million of assets in camera equipment, lighting equipment, audio equipment that can be checked out by students taking digital media and journalism courses. And we keep that stuff refreshed. We're on a 3-year cycle for that. So most of our remote equipment is 4K capable, Ultra HD or higher. And our studios are full HD, but it's a really high quality broadcast HD cameras. So we use industry standard equipment across the board, software, industry standard. We have one of the highest job, I don't want to say placement, but job obtaining statistics in the area in our field because our students are being trained on current technology that professionals are using. So our goal is that you walk across that stage at commencement and you leave the life of being a student and you're walking right into a career. And we have many, 90+% of our students already have jobs by the time they're graduating. So please reach out to us if you have further questions. Love to engage with you more.
I might take just a minute to kind of add to what Professor Ross was saying. This is, again, at Cinematic Arts. Because parents might be listening. And I think it's important to kind of convey and help them understand what's really necessary for the student as they're coming through, at least through cinema. I can speak to that. And Professor Ross was right. We have complete state-of-the-art gear, from red cameras all the way to the lighting gear and the computer labs and everything. So we have what you need, essentially, and our labs are on keyways. So you can come in the middle of the night whenever, as long as you're not breaking curfews, and use all of our gear that gets updated constantly by an amazing IT department. So anything you would try to do wouldn't come close to what you have access to already on this campus. So my recommendation very often to students as they're thinking about it is, if you get one your freshman year, by the time you graduate in 4 years, you've got a 4-year-old computer. I would recommend using what we have, taking it to its extreme, every minute having every access you can to the best equipment that's out there. And then as a graduation present to yourself or from your parents, I would recommend then spending the money on the gear that's current, so when you step out into your career, you've got the best new thing available on the marketplace to be at, because in 5 years after that, you'll be looking for something that's next. So why not start at year 1 when you graduate? That's my recommendation.
Yeah, there is absolutely no shortage of equipment on campus.
None.
If I could just add to that very quickly, to what Professor Ross and Professor Schultze said, one of the beautiful things about our campus is we don't necessarily wait till you get into the field to put you into professional experiences. And I know both those areas do, and I know all of our areas do that. We're doing things professionally. And just the awards that we've won, I know each one of the department chairs can speak to their areas. And those awards are not things that we're just doing within Liberty. We are as chair, is very insistent that our students prove their skill sets and those things they've created through their skill sets, those artifacts, if you want to call them, in the marketplace. And I know that in our department, we've won 286 Addies. And since 2011, the Addies are like the top tier award in graphic design. And we compete against every school in the country for that. So, and I know our other areas here, they can mention their awards, but we're doing that and competing as students who are being mentored by faculty with professional experience in the field. And we do this many times before we ever leave, but we can also speak to the fact that even after our students graduate, they're winning awards. And so this is a time-tested proof of the quality of the program.
Absolutely. I really appreciate that, everyone. What we'll do now, we'll go ahead and move on to our brief admissions presentation, and we'll still have more time to come back for some additional questions. But all this information I know that Dean Hayes has shared and the department chairs have shared have you ready to join us here in beautiful Lynchburg, Virginia. And we're going to talk about the admissions process. It's broken down into 4 distinct steps. We like to call this process admissions made easy. Now, the first step is obviously to submit your application. Most of you on this have already confirmed you're interested in the School of Communication and the Arts, and you've got your application at least on file. In case that didn't happen, please text the words Dean Chat to 49596 for an opportunity to apply. Now, as I said, majority of you have applied, so the second step would be getting accepted. We're going to talk a little bit about that and utilizing the student checklist. The student checklist is really a great guide to keep you on track for what's upcoming and needs to be accomplished. You simply go to liberty.edu/checklist, and with your Liberty account established, you'll see exactly what you've completed, what remains, the important updates and things that are going to be there. That's always going to be there for you. So that's the get accepted portion. Additionally, within the student checklist, would take some of you probably to step 3, which is to confirm your attendance. This is what we call completing financial check-in. It's going to allow you to build a class schedule. I know you've heard some classes that sounded very interesting. Well, if you want to get those on your schedule, you've got to complete the financial check-in process so that we know your commitment is more solid. That allows you then to register for those classes. This is when you'll choose housing. What dorm are you planning to stay in? That's one of the areas that we have the most variability in pricing. So dorms are filling up fast. You want to get your choice locked in soon. Completing FCI is the way to go. That also lets you choose your dining plan. And once you've completed financial check-in, utilizing maybe one of our flexible payment plans, that allows you to then register for those classes. So those are kind of the 4 steps in admissions. Again, it's a very simple process. My team is more than capable and ready to assist you Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. until 9 p.m. I have admissions counselors available by phone, and also on Saturday from 10 to 6. You can also email or chat. We'll have the whole communication piece up here shortly, so you'll see that. Just remember, we're here to help. We know that you're interested. You wouldn't be here watching if you weren't interested. So if there are obstacles or things that we can help to overcome, give us a call, give us a chat, send us an email. Let's see what we can do. We want to get you here. I know you're interested in these programs. I know you're interested in pursuing a professional career in communications of some sort, and that's what admissions is here to help with. So at this time, I'll be ready to open it back up for any general Q&A, anything else that's come up along the way, while we have a few more moments in this live webinar. I think some of those got answered. Was there anything else that any of the chairs or Dean Hayes you wanted to bring out in our conversation, what we've had so far, as I scroll through if there's any unanswered questions?
I would just like to add on to the question someone asked about the honors program and how it affects the BFA in graphic design. Okay. I'm just going to add on about the honors program with any of our degree programs. We have a ton of honor students in all of our degrees. These students are able to handle the different degrees very well. And specifically in BFA, I know the BFA in theater, we have several of our BFA students who are also honor students. And we're able to work around the schedules that they need, as well as the honors classes are able to work around the classes in the BFA. So many times an honors student will take one of the BFA classes and make it their honors course once they become sophomores, juniors, and seniors. And so that BFA class will serve two purposes for that student. And then by the time they get to be a senior and they have to do a senior thesis, they're able to incorporate many times something they're already working on as a theater student, whether it's a play that they are writing or it's part of a performance package that they are doing. So the honors program really collaborates well with the arts.
Yes.
All right, it looks like we may have exhausted the questions that were out there. I appreciate the follow-up on the honors component. If there was anything else that I missed, I'm not seeing it. If any of the other presenters see something else that we want to cover, otherwise we are running really close to the end of our time here. Was there any last thing that the chairs would like to say?
Hey, I'd like to just say one more thing, just to make sure I get one chance. I want to reiterate something that we said at the beginning. We posted a lot of links to the kind of activities that we do. That's because social media allows you to be able to know about us, but also us to know about you. You can follow us. We can start answering conversations. Every one of these department chairs and our faculty too are so well versed in how to communicate. It's in our school's name, that we want to make sure that we can answer any question that you have. Nothing is too small. Some people might have heard some of the specific answers to these questions that we're at, and when I have more general questions. There is nothing too general. There is nothing too specific, and we'll do our very best to guide you. Look, God has put you on a very specific path to bring us to this day right now. And the great thing about this technology is that this can be archived, you can go back to it, and that we can, this is just the beginning of a conversation that we want to have so that we can help shepherd you with the gifts that God has given you. It's been a real privilege. I thank you for it.
Absolutely, it has been a privilege to speak to you all in this format this evening. We are just beyond privileged to be a part of what is your educational journey. At this time, as we seek to close, I'm going to close this in prayer because I know many of you are still very prayerfully considering what your next steps are. This is an unprecedented time in our country, and we're facing different challenges than we have in our lifetimes. And so I definitely want to pray for you, continue to pray for the faculty, staff here at the university, what we call the Liberty family. You're a part of that. So I'm going to be praying for all of us through this time as we seek to really have God's direction confirmed, have God's provision that he provides for us. So if you wouldn't mind, join me in prayer at this time. Heavenly Father, Lord, we are honored that we have you as our Father, that we can cry out to you in times of distress, Lord, that we can praise you in times of plenty. And now as these students, these prospective students are considering Liberty University and making those steps to come to campus, to join this program and through the School of Communication and the Arts, Lord, I just pray that you would guide their steps. Lord, would you bless their move of faith, and as they decide to make financial commitments, Lord, would you provide the way? They've worked hard. I see the interactions that my staff has, and these students are working hard to provide the best way possible. Lord, we just pray that all of the opportunities are available to them, that you would work and move in ways that they can't believe or imagine. Lord, I pray for their families as they make these decisions and move in this direction. They may be moving across country or just from around the corner. But Lord, I know that you're guiding their steps. We know that they can have faith and trust in you. And I pray for this faculty, Lord, the group that we're speaking with now, and the hundreds upon hundreds of others that interact with our current students and our prospective students. Lord, would you seek to just embolden them to be leaders as they lead their classrooms. And Lord, we pray for the staff and the rest of the Liberty family that we would all be safe. Lord, that in this time of uncertainty, Lord, that we would seek you as our rock and our fortress. It's in Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Now again,
Amen.
You see the contact information there for my team. You saw the contact information for the School of Communication and the Arts. If you have any further questions, we want to be advocates for you. We want to be able to answer and lead and guide you in the right direction. So please utilize the expertise that you see represented here today. And we just are just looking so forward to seeing you in fall, and can't wait for that day when we see you on campus. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks,
Thank
Chris.
you.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.